Well, Arkansas is down in that consolation bracket, gonna have a third place game as they fall to the Memphis Tigers by a score of 84-79. Arkansas was down 5 at halftime. They lost by 5. Played it dead even the second half. Um, this one is tough because that I feel like Memphis is very good. I feel like Memphis is going to win a lot of games. I think Memphis will be in the tournament. Memphis is probably going to be ranked. They're 5-0. They beat living daylights out of Missouri a week and a half ago or something like that. And yet I thought there's a lot of things that could have went different and we could have won this game. Like this wasn't this was not we could have won this game, and that was a little bit frustrating. And it comes down, I can give you 3 things that you can change that are easy to change, and you're at least in a much better position to win this game. I'll give you 2 things. I'll give you 2 things, but one thing is 2 things. Don't get 2 technical fouls. Don't do that. That doesn't help you. And not in games like this, you can't, where it's going to be a 5-point victory. Can't do that. So that didn't help. And I don't know how you felt about it, but I felt like Ellis's turnover at the end of the first half that led to a 3 was devastating because you were going down to try to tie it. You're trying to get a shot to tie it going into the half, and instead, or have the lead going into the half, whatever. Like, I mean, you're down 2, and you're going to go down there and try to do something without giving them any time to do anything because the shot clock's off, and you turn the ball over and they kick it out and the guy hits that. I just thought I got real concerned actually when that happened. I'm like, that stuff is hard. Like, that's hard to overcome in tight games. Like, that is and I don't know if you noticed, but also I felt bad for Ellis because I think that cost him a lot. Like, it was like, dude, that's the worst thing you could possibly do right here.
Yeah, because it appears, we don't know for sure, but it appears that he is, sort of fighting for minutes, and maybe his, Musselman's trust in him is dubious, and he's trying to earn a little bit of confidence back. And that was bad obviously, for confidence from the coaches, but also for his own self-confidence. Like, when you feel that pressure of like, oh, am I losing my starting spot? Am I losing my minutes this season to somebody else? There's pressure now, and you start to
Yeah.
grip, and that definitely was not helpful.
No, because like it's not just like, oh, dude, it's one turnover. It wasn't, dude. That was the worst of all things. Like that's the kind of, you just like, oh, that kind of stuff can cost you the game. Like that's not good. I mean, honestly, you take the 2 technicals in that, and you won the game. I mean, I know it doesn't come down to simple things like that, but when there's obvious things that you could just not do, where you're like, dude, if you don't do like, and technical fouls are one of those, and obviously like turnovers happen and stuff, but that's a bad turnover. And obviously, like, not every turnover. I mean, he could have missed that shot and then it's just a turnover and whatever. But like, you created the opportunity with that turnover for something real bad to happen, and
Yeah.
it happened. And
It, it
but in the second half, it was 42-42. I'm not saying we played like amazing in the second half. We gave it 42 points. Also, here's the other thing you can't do. Maybe you're gonna let some dude go off for 36. You're probably gonna lose.
Mhm. Yeah, that's always a bummer when a guy has a career night like that.
I
It's
know
one of
you
the
love it. I
most
know
annoying
you
things.
personally love it when that happens.
When they say, "Oh, career night for this guy," I'm always like, "God dang it!" Like, I hate when guys score out of their norm on you. But
Dude, and by the
yeah,
way, that Jones was like 36 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 steals, dude. 5
mhm,
steals, played 33 minutes. But my guy was 10 for 14, and then
pretty
12 of
efficient.
14 from the free throw line. I mean,
Hmm.
dude,
Yeah,
like
that's the way to
that just filling it
get
up.
those numbers up. Um, yeah, this game, I mean, I feel like our what I mean, we don't know because we're not in the locker room, obviously, or in Muss's head, but it does seem like he's trying to obviously, he's playing craps right now, and he's trying to figure out how he can get the odds slightly in his favor because when he's, offense for defense, is like if I put Ellis out there, he's capable of scoring 20 points on any given night. He's certainly capable of averaging 14. And it's like, but if he gives up 10 because of because of maybe he's not as good of a defender, and you put Blocker in there, and Blocker only scores 6, but he gives up only 4. It's like he's trying to find that balance, and we just didn't quite have it tonight. You know what I mean? Like we just needed a little bit more.
The Mark's
We
foul
needed a little
trouble
bit more
hurt us
from
in the
both
first.
sides.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did hurt us.
Mark being missing basically this second half of the first half hurt. And I thought Mitchell being in foul trouble really hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, because they were trying to take advantage of that because those are
Well,
that's the kind
and
of
that
team
big
you're
man
talking
was more
about.
suited for him.
Yeah.
That was the kind of big man that he was a little bit more suited to bang around with. But I mean, I liked the defensive minded started lineup. I mean, I thought
Mhm.
Blocker did a good job. It was just it still wasn't quite enough. I mean, they gave up what are they? I mean, definitely more points than you want to. They
Yeah, I mean,
still had
84 points. Yeah, it's too much.
you want your defense at the very like it feels like the offense isn't clicking. It's not terrible. It's spotty. It's a little clunky, but you need to be. I mean, this is an obvious thing to say, but they need to be 10 points better on defense and 10 points better on offense, and you're winning all kinds of
Yeah,
games.
and I
You
mean,
know what I mean? Like,
they scored 79 points in this game. They don't need to score 89 points that 79 points is enough points. Should be enough points to win a lot of games. Um, if your defense is better. Now, 79 might not be enough to win games if it isn't better. You might have to get
mhm,
into the 80s. I mean, I know last year, if our team was scoring 79 points, you freaking won that game. Like,
mhm.
right? I mean, I don't know how many games we lost by letting teams get into the 80s, but it wasn't many. And so, yeah, that's got to get. And here's the thing: it's like when we turned the ball over. Let me look at this. We turned the ball over, um, 15 times. Memphis turned it over 13. Uh, but they got a lot of points off of turnovers, man. Like there was a lot of points off those like not, I know we've said this before, but all turnovers are not the same. You throw the
Yeah,
ball out
and
of bounds is not the same, dude, as what happened to LLS or some guy picking your pocket or a guy picking off a pass and going down and dunking it. These are not the same kind of thing. And we had too many of the wrong kind that end up in easy buckets. And
yeah, it's I mean,
we've done that a little bit we've done that too much this season where we have bad turnovers that lead to points. Not that we turn over the ball like an insane amount, but we've been turning it over in bad ways. And our transition defense is not good. Like in a half court, the defense is okay, but our transition defense is not good.
yeah, like you said, I mean, it's obvious that like it's the difference between you throwing a pick that loses you the possession in your downs versus throwing a pick six.
Yeah.
There's a difference between losing yourself a possession, which is a bummer, and giving the other team an extra possession. But that's different than throwing the ball to a guy that's facing his basket going that direction and
Yeah.
putting everybody on their back, foot. And we've been doing too much of that. And that was the
I mean,
thing. I mean, that didn't
I have to assume that starting blocker is partially trying to shore up that transition defense a little bit, right?
I think the defense just overall, yeah, that perimeter defense, the 3-point shooting, I'll put pressure on the guards at half
Mm-hmm.
court, all that stuff. Um, and like I said, I mean, it did. I liked the way Blocker played, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if I'm sitting there and I'm L. Ellis or something, I am looking at it and going, didn't really work though. Like you still gave up 80 points. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I I could have done that.
Yeah. I mean, Blocker plays 27 minutes, starts, he ends up with 9 points, 3 rebounds. Um, he was 3 of 5 One of the shots he took just got swatted at the rim, but I liked the take. I like his takes. I like the shots he takes. He's not gonna. I mean, he's not gonna force a lot. It doesn't seem like it's not really doesn't appear that he's out there trying to do that. So I like his aggressiveness going to the basket. Obviously, I like to. I mean, I like he's just gonna get better. I think that blocker is. This does not have to do with this game, but blocker looks like definitely a future piece. I mean, I think the blocker looks like a dude that probably going to be in a Razorback uniform for a while, and we'll probably be talking about him for the next few seasons, logging minutes for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, this game was a little bit hard because um, I didn't I don't know really what to glean. We didn't play terrible, but we didn't play great. So it's and that I would say that would almost went across the board, don't you think? Like
Yeah,
there wasn't any individually outstanding performances,
I mean
but nobody
Brazil
played
has a double double.
terrible.
Brazil has 13 points, 10 boards. I thought Brazil played pretty good. Um, Mark, he played good. But he just was limited. He played 26 minutes. So that was a bummer. Battle gets you 21 points. He was 5 of 8. That's pretty efficient. 3 of 4 from the free throw line, from the
And
3-point
that was
line.
a quiet.
Eight of 11 from the free throw line.
That was a quiet 21 points, huh? Didn't feel
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. I mean,
So
that's a
he might be your player of the game. I don't know. You
yeah.
need.
Like I said, it was a hard game to analyze because, like I said, I mean, just didn't play great at any particular level, but
It
didn't
didn't
play
didn't
awful.
didn't start out crappy. Like I felt like we can't. Here's one thing I would say about that lineup he put out there. It started better than the lineup he put out there. I mean, that start was way better than the last 2 starts we've had.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, we didn't come out and blow the doors off of anyone, but the last 2 games we started real bad. Like, it didn't look good the first 10 minutes. It looked like they came out and it looked like they were ready to go. What's your opinion on this? I mean, do you think Memphis is the best team we played so far?
It's hard to say. I mean, like I said, honestly, I'm like you, what you said. Like, I felt like my feeling as we went through that game, especially the first half and even into the beginning of the second half, I feel like we can beat this team.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody out there where I'm like, I don't know how we're going to stop that guy. I don't know what we're going to do about that. And there was lots of times where it's,
Except for a dude dropping 36 points on you.
I know, but the way he was scoring, it was just like I said, it was from the free throw line. It just, and honestly, it felt like that for our guys too. Like it just didn't feel like anybody was dominating, even though obviously that guy, from a statistical standpoint, was. But I felt like we were going to win that game. I was like, we can beat this team. We're going to come back. I mean, and part of it was like you said, it was like Mark didn't play at all in that first half, and like we've had other guys in foul trouble. We've picked up some stupid texts that were weird. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like we've given them all these different chances. Like surely if we can just stop fooling around, get our legs underneath us, and start playing. If we start playing for real and stop like turning the ball over and playing better transition defense, and it just never really happened. I mean, and maybe that's because that's more what we are right now. But and like I said, it wasn't that it was awful. It
One
was
thing
just
that's weird is
not
that
quite as good as Memphis.
there's one thing that happened in this game that never happens hardly to Arkansas ever, and that's Memphis shot more free throws than Arkansas did. That almost never happens.
Mm-hmm.
No, not a lot more. I mean, there was a lot of free throw shot. We shot 27 free throws. I'm not saying we didn't shoot free throws. We shot 27 of them. We did certainly shoot them. They shot 30. We don't usually put teams at the line more than they put us at the line. That team was definitely the longest team we played so far.
Yeah, don't you feel like this team and it's juxtaposed with last year, especially, it feels like when you're down by more than 5, it feels like a kind of a lot of points, which is weird because we have a lot of offensive scores, but it so far it feels like our points come at a lot of difficulty. You know what I mean? Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of individual dribbling around, making some passes, and then somebody has to hit a tough shot. Or one of the big guys has to grapple a ball up down, down low and stick it in on a tough layup or something. It doesn't feel like we're getting really clean looks we're not getting hardly any train. I mean, at least it feels this way. Maybe the statistics say something else, but it doesn't feel like we're getting any of these fast break quick points, which we had
No,
a lot of. That I mean, we couldn't shoot last year, but it felt like we had like 14 points a game off of steals and transition stuff.
just dunks the other direction. Yeah.
Yeah, just putting
Also,
pressure on them.
also,
And
dude, how many dunks are we gonna miss in this tournament?
yeah, no joke.
Dude,
We missed like three on one possession,
like,
but
okay, there's two ways that you miss a dunk. Now I haven't been able to dunk for a while, but there was a time that I could dunk, and there's two ways that you miss it. One is you miss it the way the blocker missed a dunk last game, where you just don't get
kind
quite high enough, and you just
kind of blow a tire.
yeah. The other way is when you try to dunk it too hard, like where you go like too violent at the rim, and the rim just like because when you try to dunk it too hard, if that ball hits any rim, it like just ejects it. I mean, like that, and so and that's what you saw. Lawson and Brazil both tried to just decimate the goal with that and the goal was just like I mean they just caught a little bit of that back rim as you're trying to just cram it down. And I'm not saying don't dunk the ball or anything like that, obviously, but that is weird that we've seen so many of those in this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't know what the statistics say, but it does feel like teams are getting easy buckets on us. Like they're getting, it seems like teams are getting, 6 to 12 points in transition, just layups. And it feels like we're getting almost none of those. And
Yeah.
last year, when you were down by 6 or 7, it felt like, well, there's a very good chance that once we start putting our pressure defense, our like 2 minute drill defense on, you could easily see Walsh getting a couple of steals and we could score 4 points in like 16 seconds. You know what I mean? Whereas with
Yeah.
this team, it feels like, well, best case scenario, we're going to go down, use the 14 seconds of the clock, and then Mark's going to hit a difficult fadeaway or something like that.
Well, I think the difference is that because you're right. You're like 5 points should feel like not that big a lead, and it's not that big a lead, but because you're like we have more offensive firepower certainly than we had last year. But the thing that you were confident in last year is like, can you get multiple stops?
Yeah, we're struggling to get
For sure.
stops.
Yeah.
We're struggling to string together large, back to back to back stops. We can't get, and if we do, if they don't score, we foul them. And I mean, like you said,
Mm.
obviously this tonight they shot a ton of free throws and they didn't miss enough of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so yeah, again, I don't think we played bad. We shot ourselves in the foot with a couple of things for sure. Uh, I don't think we played terrible. I do think Memphis is good too. I don't think we lost to a bad team or anything like that. That's a neutral site game against a team that's going to win a lot of games. Our reward for losing is North Carolina. I did watch North Carolina and Villanova. That's not going to be easy.
I didn't. I was doing Thanksgiving with my family all day, and I didn't get to watch anything but the Hogs game. I'll probably go back and watch some of those things. North Carolina looked pretty good.
I mean, they lost in overtime to Villanova to get but Villanova looks real good. They both look good. I mean, they're both good. I mean, they're ranked 14th in the country. Your reward for losing to Memphis is now you got to go play the 14th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, which that's an exciting game. That's a game you want to win. Hopefully the guys can get up for that. I would think you would be able to. I mean, it's North Carolina, Arkansas. It's let's go get it. If you win that game and you walk out of this tournament 2-1, I think that you can say that that's okay. If you lose and you walk out 1-2, it's probably not what you wanted, but you probably discovered a lot of stuff about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, it's a bummer. On the holiday weekend, it'd be sick if tomorrow we had a championship tournament game and you came out of this and you were, still just a one-loss team. But tomorrow's super important. I mean, dude, the difference between being what's our record right now?
4-2.
4-2 dude, the difference between being 5-2 versus 4-3. I don't want to be 4-3. You know what I mean?
Not really. Would Duke coming into town?
No, yeah, yeah. And then, if you lose to Duke and by the way, right now, I mean, after, the first 2, 3 games, I was like, dude, bring Duke on. Let's go. Like, I want to see what we got. I'm pretty nervous about Duke right now.
Yeah.
Like the way we're playing right now, I do not think is good enough to beat Duke.
Yeah.
We haven't played as good as we really haven't played. We haven't matched the Purdue game yet. That was like our first game was our best game so far. And second game was pretty good. And then we started to see like a little bit of like, oh, bad game from somebody here. And now it's starting to be like it feels like anyway, like they're trying to find themselves. Like they've been a little bit punched in the mouth. Reality's kind of setting like, oh, this isn't going to be that easy. These teams are all as good as Purdue, apparently. Like, so yeah, I mean, I think it does feel like we're searching right now and we're a little bit fragmented and trying to like figure out exactly, tie
Mhm.
down all the pieces and figure out how it's going to work together. And
Which of course
that's
is like which of course is the same story, different year, right? Like
and it's just, and more or less it's the same for everybody to some degree. I mean, there's some teams that are bringing back 5 seniors and they're just a freaking machine, but most teams have a bunch of transfers and a bunch of freshmen, and they're trying to figure out what all the pieces are. I mean,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's not like everybody else isn't doing the same thing. It's just, I don't know. We look a little bit disorganized right now.
yeah, yeah. I think so, and I totally trust that. Come the middle of January, that Muss is going to have it figured out.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean, as long as we don't have any injuries, like I'm a little bit concerned now. Like feels like okay, we need all these pieces for sure. We're
mhm,
not as deep as I had maybe hoped as far as like essential players that can score and stuff. I mean, we got length and lanky guys all over the bench, but like guys that can actually fundamentally score and play defense. We're as long as we don't get hit with the injury bug, I mean, Musselman's going to make it. He's going to get the best out of whatever these guys are capable of. I'm sure he'll squeeze it out of them.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, I think so too. All right, well, we can leave it there. I think we make it a little bit short one. We got
Hmm.
another game tomorrow, and we'll be recording that one in person because we'll be hanging out tomorrow. So,
Hmm.
woo pig, go hogs. I'm not overly discouraged or anything. Wish we'd have won, but you know, we'll get there.
I would say I mean, it's idiotic to be anything really yet. You know what I mean? But
That's what I mean.
I'm a little bit cautiously nervous. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little bit got some butterflies. Like hope that we can. I've seen some cracks here. Hope we can figure it out. But no, I mean it's so early, and like I said, I mean, it's not a big sample size, and they're obviously figuring out, and we see this every year with Musselman.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he doesn't run like a super organized offense, so it takes a while for guys to gel a little bit. I do
yeah,
think maybe that's one place where like somebody like a Syracuse or something like that, where they have a system that they're
yeah,
running that's
yeah.
like very, very specialized. You might be able to be in a better rhythm earlier.
Hmm.
Whereas it does seem like Muss has this free flowing thing, and he has to figure out who he can trust and then get them and build their confidence in the
Yeah,
system. And then and it just seems like it just takes us 10 to 15 games to kind of figure it
yeah,
out,
yeah. Yep,
totally. So, all
yep. I agree. All right, man. Well,
right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you,
All
man.
right.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.